What is going on, YouTube? Moto fans, I'm your host, Tyler. This is False Neutral Media. Alongside me, my brother, Trevor, co-host, and East Rutherford. And before we get into anything, just want to say, Jerry Robin had a nasty crash in practice. He had surgery, and we're not going to get too into it, but man, we're hoping for just a good recovery. We're going to have links for him in the description to help him with everybody and the moto community, just, helping him and his family. But thoughts and prayers out to him. And we hope everything goes well in the future for him, no matter what road, leads him on. But let's get into the show. What a race. A lot of people weren't I myself weren't expecting for the 450, but someone definitely didn't get his ass kicked. And 250s, we definitely called the top three. Haymaker, Hampshire, Vial. 1, 2, 3.
And it feels good to be the Oracle of Delphi, right? It feels really good to be gifted with the gift of divine foresight. And I could see it in my mind because Seth Hammaker, everyone's like, where'd this guy come from, right? We have Ricky. It took him 4 years to get back to winning race. Man, shut the fuck up. This guy's on rails right now. Hey, Ricky Carmichael, stop talking. Stop talking, please. Stop it. Seth Hammaker's on rails.
Yeah, he is.
In the heat, in qualifying, and at the main, gets out and blasts past people. How? Double, triple,
Dude.
right in front of the person leading and skips over that triple. But then on the double right after that with that right-hand bull turn, he came in and he goes up and over it and slams the bike down, and you see him accelerate and leave people behind. And I was like, dude, Seth Hammaker's got something for everybody in this main.
Yes.
And we saw in the main, what was his goal? I'm going to get out front and not let anybody by, because this was a one lane track.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of spots where you could pass except for those 90-degree turns, right? Those super intense turns that they had in there.
Yeah.
But seeing how the 250 class handled that track was very interesting, because you could see they were pushing it.
Yeah,
they were definitely pushing it. But looked good seeing Tom Vial kind of putting stuff together and making something happen.
Yeah.
RJ Hampshire was looking fast.
Yes,
he was looking fast. As we come down to the wire, Seth Hammaker is the only one on the East Division with 2 wins. Deegan on the West Coast has 2 wins. So does Cole Davey has 2 wins. So right now it's just seeing how the West Coast is stacking up, and then the East Coast, where it's Hammaker and RJ are going to battle until the very end. They're just going to keep going at each other. And I'm excited, man. We saw a little bit of RJ pushing the limit when he was behind Chance Hymas, who we also saw took a bit of a spill, if you want to get into that.
No, yeah. He, after he hit, I believe it was a triple, his front tire washed out. The same thing happened to Nate Thrasher, and he was looking phenomenal as well. I don't know what kind of happened. Just, front tire just slid out for both of them. But yeah, Hymas, I was kind of bummed because I wanted to see more of Haymaker and Hampshire battle and see what happens. Yeah, we saw, they showed Hymas went down, and then they showed the whole replay again in slow motion. While I wanted to see what was going on. I mean, they could have cut it.
Nate Thrasher.
Yeah, we missed the whole thing, and Nate Thrasher was ripping too. He was up there, Tom Vial trying to sneak up, get in the mix.
Mhm.
But I mean, they got to work on that, man. Like,
Right.
it's 50-50. Oh, let's see what happens. But, cut it earlier. Let's get back to the racing or show it at a different point.
Right, and the reason I watch Supercross is for the commentation, right? That's what I watch it for. When I'm watching it and they go, Chance Hymas coming off of that knee injury, Ricky, can you tell us about riding with ailments? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. It's pretty hard to race normally, but an ailment makes it harder. And they go, yep, we knew that. All right, next thing, like, brother. And I know what Ricky's thing is he goes, I'm just calling it as I see it. You don't have to call it as anybody sees it. We're
Yeah.
wanting to know more descript. But then it made me think, when has Ricky really rode with injuries in a professional race? They didn't used to do that. They
Yeah.
used to be like, I'm injured. I'm out for a season and a half. Now it's Roxon is going, my knee's fucked up. My ankle's fucked up. My shoulder's popping out. He sounds like Mike Tyson after he lost that match. And they're like, what happened? And he's like, I broke my back. It's spinal. Right. And they're like, what? What?
Bro, that
Like,
was the best Mike Tyson impression right there.
but that's what I'm saying, dude. You've got these writers lining up, and it's like, Ken Roxon, how are you feeling? And he goes, my body is actively betraying me,
Yeah.
hoping for a podium. And it's like, what are we? Hey, Ricky, how does it feel to ride with an injury? It feels like a Family Guy bit. And we cut to Ricky and he goes, it hurts. And they go, thanks, Ricky. Like, dude, come on. Give me the Spanish speaking announcers with Jorge Prado as their Supercross. Like, and dude, the gate drops and he's like, Vámonos! And
Oh,
I'm like,
dude, it was
hell yeah.
intense. I was sitting there
Yeah.
like, dude, I wish these guys were,
Give them the LCQ and watch how fast American Motorsports in regards to Monster Energy Supercross goes, fuck it, I'm learning Spanish. I'm
Dude.
learning Spanish. I can't take it
Subtitles
anymore.
on, English subtitles on. We're watching it.
I'm talking all of Moto becomes bilingual just to avoid what's his name? Diffie and fucking Carmichael. Everyone in the Moto community at once becomes bilingual just to avoid it.
No,
But
yeah,
man,
it was good.
I'm just the 250s, everybody was looking good. Everybody was on rails, and it was Faulkner.
Oh my God, yeah.
Finally giving
Dude.
us a glimpse of how he could be.
Yeah.
Thank God he had that Alpine Star kit on with that emergency device. We saw it work on him. We saw it work with Barsha. And some people are going, look what good it did. And it's like, brother, anything to make sure these guys aren't blasting their rib cages on the face of the next jump. Right.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to see medical precaution being instilled. As somebody who was a paramedic, I see these crashes and I'm like, the fact that these guys are getting on the bike a week later is insane.
Crazy.
But yeah, the 250 class, it was a fast class this weekend, but Seth Hamaker.
I had something like on that too, just with the device, with the chest protector. I know it is with Alpine Stars, correct? I know sponsors and stuff, but you got to ride with certain things. But I wish with the pro, like the whole industry, sponsors or not, like I wish A-Stars would just give it to each rider. I mean, most of them ride with it, their chest protector underneath. So I just feel like you said, to protect these riders as much as possible. You're only sponsored by them. You get it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, to my knowledge, it's in testing right now, which is why these pros are testing it, right? Because if A-Stars, you want to know how to test that? Give it to the C class at your local track. See if it helps them, because they be crashing every corner.
Yeah, they're learning.
But with that being said, A-Stars did something incredibly smart. They said, "Who's the rider that we know will crash?" And they said, "Fortner, we need you to test this, brother." And he went, "Fair." Like,
Yeah.
but like you give it to Barsha. Barsha, you gonna crash him? Maybe.
Maybe. We don't know.
Give it to me. That's the other thing is I am not privy. I'm sure there's articles out there that A-Stars released about who was using it. We don't know if Chase Sexton was using something like that. He just didn't go down, so it didn't go off. I'm not sure who had access to it. But
Yeah.
what I am happy about is that we are trying to come up with ways with research and development to make Moto, especially at this level, a little bit more safe. We
Yeah.
don't need any more crashes like Cameron McAdoo's highlight reel is. We just don't need people getting absolutely obliterated on the face of other jumps. So yeah, if a little bit of a parachute opening up or an airbag opening up helps, cool. Because one thing is, yeah, it might not hit on the initial hit, but I can guarantee you if you shatter your rib cage, you're not going to want to slam 3 to 4 more times
Yeah.
after said break. You're
Rolling
probably
like
going to
a
want
ragdoll.
something cushioning you. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of benefits to it, but we're still going to see the research and development and see, how they're coming along with it.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see it in play.
Bro, they look like Ninja Turtles out there when it was, but
Right.
their gear is so tight on them, especially Barsha. My God, brother. Like,
Right.
but
Right.
I was even telling you, like, dude, how, like, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to ride like that. Like, just feeling the stiffness and then every, like,
Right.
but
Although
I think it does deflate, like you said.
Right.
over
I
time.
also did read the comments of the Austin Fortner clip, and somebody said, "Me after one piece of bread," which was pretty funny, thinking about one piece of bread and just popping open. But you brought up the Ninja Turtles, in just a random side tangent. Why are they wearing masks? They're big turtles. Nobody's going, "Hey, who was that guy that just beat the shit out of us?"
And they all look the same.
Oh no, he
too.
was
They're all
wearing a
turtles.
mask. The
They're
big
not even
green
gonna know.
turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big green turtle was wearing a mask. We don't know who he was.
Even though they're labeled
makes
with
sense.
colors, I still
Yeah.
fuck up their names,
Yeah.
dude. Like,
Of
oh
course,
yeah.
of course.
But no, yeah, it was awesome racing for the 250 class. A lot of good battles in the LCQs as well. But no, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And since we're still kind of on the topic of the 250s, I was watching Levi Kitchen before we started this. They just posted he is ripping on the 250 for getting ready for outdoors. Ryder DeFrancisco was keeping up with Bomir at Glen Helen as well, practicing. So Bomir's already getting that practicing, getting ready.
He needs it.
Yeah, a lot of people are obviously getting ready, Star Yamaha, everyone. So it's cool to see, because I love Supercross is sick. Don't get me wrong, but I love outdoors. It's a whole different fucking ball game. It's it's more intense, kind of longer
More
racing.
of attrition.
Dude, yeah, it is all about stamina, mental, and good starts. I mean, like anything, but no, I'm excited for it. But the 450 class, man, Chase went in after Webb was saying, "Hey, I'm kicking his ass next weekend," and I tell you what, I texted you and I was like, KTM has got that bike dialed for him in AP.
Right. And I'll say, is a longtime supporter and #1 vocal voice saying that Chase Sexton is one of the greatest of all time. I'm on record being a huge Chase Sexton supporter. I want to talk about him every single week. I love talking about Chase Sexton. I love it. Congrats, brother. The KTM is dialed in, and now you're winning by 18 seconds. how bad was the bike before? How bad
Yeah.
was it to where now you're spanking fools by 18 seconds who last week were like, we're going to go back and get to work and I'm going to kick his ass.
Yeah.
And Chase said, Jurassic Park. Uh, 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 uh. And then what did AP do? He said, I don't know
Dude.
what you did to Chase's bike. Do it to mine right now.
Yeah.
We got KTM 1 and 3 in an angry Cooper Webb. And we're going into the final couple rounds.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
three left.
Okay. We give this one to Chase Sexton. Congrats, Chase. I'll give your credit where credit is due. You spanked him this week. You did great. Right. I make comments because these dudes are doing the dream, right? They're racing motocross for a living. They're making good money. They're sponsored by the biggest energy drink companies known to mankind. They're doing all right. If I go, Chase, figure it the fuck out. Guess what? He did. I'm glad he listened to me as his new permanent riding coach. I can happily say we finally put it together, and me and Chase Sexton are going to the very top. Unless Cooper Webb can pull it together. If that's the case, fuck Sexton. We going ham, Cooper Webb. And that's how I feel. But on that topic, on the 450s, Shane McElrath was out there going, don't forget about me.
Yeah.
Do not forget about
he was looking strong and good. Yeah, Barsha, they had a good little battle that was really cool to see. Barsha looked really comfortable and really good until that little mistake, which was a bummer. And that's, he almost every race, it's been just the littlest mistakes. The race before, going over the berm after getting a great start, feeling good, and
he's got it, brother.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, and then I'm saying the same thing, man. He's making moves, he's making passes early in the race, which you got to do because all the riders are right there, and just it's the smallest things that could take you out in the blink of an eye with Supercross, and that's what a lot of people just don't get to. It's very, very mental. You got to be very smart. And you can't go out there like, oh, I know the track, because it changes every single second, every single lap.
Yeah. And I think, speaking of that mindset and kind of going out there and trying to be as dominant as possible every lap, Justin Cooper, you have to respect the fact that this dude, every time the gate drops, he's there. He's always trying to get up front in the early laps. And I'm telling you, if he can finally put together the stamina to hold that pace, he's dangerous. He's super dangerous. We even saw his battle with Cooper Webb in the heat, right? Where he was on rails, dude. He was on rails, keeping up and battling with Cooper Webb. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. We saw Malcolm Stewart, top 10. He's pushing the limit. I'd like to see him up there more. And of course, seeing AP on the podium always makes me very happy.
Yeah.
So I was pretty content.
Oh God, who are we? I just had it. I hate that. Oh my gosh.
Roxon was up there.
Roxon was doing awesome. Oh my gosh, why am I spacing on names?
We did have Freddie Noren was out there in the front for one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it'll probably come back to me, but no, yeah, I'm excited. I wonder if Cooper is going to make more adjustments, because I guess when they were practicing before, New York or New Jersey, at the facility, I guess they made him a deal like, you go out there, you put in like a good couple laps and you could be done or something, and be more aggressive. They're working on more aggressiveness, different line choice, body positioning, and footwork, they were saying. So I wonder if all that and trying new things kind of mess with Cooper Cooper Webb at the same time.
Mhm.
But like, Chase, it was like watching a whole different rider these last
Mhm.
two rounds.
Yep.
And yeah, the gaps were insane. It was a big statement. But no, I'm excited for the rest of these three rounds as we are going to Pittsburgh, I believe. Um is that going to be West Coast, or is it one more East and then the last two round, or
That's
the
East
last
Coast.
round? Okay, yeah. So we
Mhm.
got one more East, then the last round will be West going into outdoors. I'm sorry. I'm just excited to see Cole Davies and what he does.
Mhm.
Um but no, yeah, it's been a good season. That race was I definitely enjoyed the 250 definitely a lot more.
And that's the thing, man. We're coming close to the end.
Yeah,
We're coming close to the end of Supercross season, which is the end of our first season as a podcast before we head into outdoors.
I
Pretty
know.
crazy.
I'm
Pretty
excited for
crazy.
outdoors though, dude. It's gonna be I'm
Mhm.
stoked for it. And uh the rider that I was thinking of earlier, Dean Wilson,
Dude.
actually was looking pretty dang good at, just the baby steps like we talked about, first race jitters, get it out of the way. We understand. Second race, he comes out, does awesome.
Mhm. Yeah. I definitely think one, right? It's interesting seeing him come in late in the season for HRC because they need somebody, right? But to see him kind of put it together and start getting these top fives, or at least shooting for these top fives, or top tens, I should say. It's been really cool to watch Dino out there. I mean, I've been watching him since I was young, so
Yeah,
seeing him out there consistently still throwing the leg over a bike and literally just having fun with it. He's like, "You guys are expecting me to win, brother. I'm rusty, and I'm
yeah,
putting this all back together. Like, I'm just going out and having fun."
yeah.
Uh, I think it's one of those, like, I wanna see Dino race forever because he's
So
just
yeah,
having fun.
I always
Um,
enjoy his
yeah,
style, his racing, and just him at the track. But
yeah.
no, yeah, it's gonna be a good outdoor. Man, I even saw, I think Eli did confirm that this is definitely going to be his last season as well. A couple people I think he posted, or he had an interview, and stuff. But I mean, that's such a bummer to hear. But it is kind of like that time for, you know, Jet, Kit, not Kitchen, sorry, Jet and Sexton, to have their time. Sexton's still, young, still gonna be in the sport for a while. Then I
Mhm,
mean, we're gonna have new riders, hopefully, from the 250 coming up to the 450. And I mean, it's just gonna progress. Riders are gonna be top tier.
mhm.
We're gonna have Jorge Prado back on the bike as well. He was out at Paula Fox Raceway and Paula, um even getting his practice in too. So I'm excited what Prado brings to the outdoors against Jet. They've both been injured, haven't been racing, been healing, been getting that PTN. um and I don't know if Jet is back on the bike. There hasn't been any posts, there hasn't been anything. He's been really
Mhm.
quiet, um on the riding
He's been
aspect.
doing them clothing reimbursement or
Probably
yeah,
doing that modeling on the
he's
side.
doing
but
that fashion shit, yeah.
but no, yeah, I am curious to see what happens at Paula.
Well, we've got Jorge Prado, right? We've got MXGP, one of the greats, right? Has raced against Hurlings and has shown that he can stand the test of time.
Yeah,
It's not going to be easy for Jet this year. It's not going to be easy for him outdoors. He's also got Hunter that he has to deal with. Hunter coming back onto the bike, right?
yeah,
You've got everybody that's lining up for outdoors this year. It's going to be intense. And Jet, this is not one of those, all right, I'm gonna go out, dominate this year, and we'll deal with the Deegan problem when he comes up. You're gonna have to deal with this year. You're gonna have to deal with the fast guys. And then next year or the year after that, then you're gonna have to deal with a whole nother level of fast.
Yeah.
And these are dudes who are like you, but they said, not only do I have the technique, I also have the balls to keep it wide fucking open when you don't.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard for Jet and all them to contend with, right? Thinking about a Chase Sexton and a Jet Lawrence battling a Deegan with a 450 that isn't afraid to stuff them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
don't have a bye season where you can just win. You're going to have to deal with Prado. You're going to have to deal with Roxon. You're going to have to deal with all of these different people, although I don't know if Roxon's racing outdoors this year.
Yeah.
Because I know he usually will do like other supercross stuff instead. But I do think it's one of those interesting things. You brought up Eli Tomac being, this is his last season. And I'll just leave everybody with this quote, and we can end it on that if you want. But every king knows it to be true that every kingdom must one day come to an end.
Yep.
And that's the way it is.
Yep.
That's
No,
it.
yeah. And before we close out, yeah, I just got back from, DT1 with some amateur racing. It was awesome out there. And for the Loretta Lynn's and Road to Mammoth round 4 area qualifier. So it was awesome. Dane Pappas, Seba, Ryder Ellis was out there, and Ryder Ellis is actually riding with an injured shoulder that pops out. It's crazy. I got a clip of him. He went into a turn and, there was some braking bumps and it locked out, and he literally went over one of the big tables and lifted his arm like to where it popped back in and grabbed the handlebar. Like, and I talked to him after, he's like, dude, sometimes it literally goes numb. These amateur kids are gnarly, literally gnarly. A lot of them, it's all grit, no quit, but talking to him, he does have a appointment, an MRI. He's going to get it checked out Friday. Hopefully he doesn't have to have surgery, maybe some PT and certain, just rest. So it doesn't cause permanent damage. The Freehill brothers, Ty, Nate were out there. A lot of good riders out there, man. So it was super fun. Going to get that content rolling. We got, some good clips, so I'm pumped. But no, yeah, we are going to Pittsburgh, and I think it's going to be the same. I think Hammaker is going to take it again, but this time I think what?
I think Hampshire's going to take it.
Really? Because I'm thinking Vial might be third or second if he gets a good start. I don't think so. I think it's going to be Hampshire. I think it's going to be Hammaker. And third, I'll probably say Forkner.
No. God, no.
I honestly, I think it might be the same again. For me, Hammaker, RJ, and Vial again.
I think RJ's going to come into it with the hunger after this last round. I think we're going to see RJ put on the nitrous.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see Hymas up there if he can put things together. But if he's out on injury, I haven't seen any updates on how he's doing. So I could be talking straight out of my ass. But I think I'm going to say, I can say top 2. I'm not sure who's going to slot in at third. But my opinion is I think RJ Hampshire is going to take it. I think the way we saw him go after on the final lap after Chance Hymas and saw him struggling through the main, just trying to keep it on the level and was just getting angry.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see him race like how Seth was racing this weekend,
okay.
Which was, okay, if Nate Thrasher, I'd say Nate Thrasher is somebody you could slot in at third.
That was my wild card, I was going to say.
We saw the way Hammaker in the first lap went after him.
Yeah.
We're going to see that from RJ, and we're going to see it from Thrasher too. So Tom Vial, I would like to see him up there. Do I think he has the grit that all of those riders are probably going to be bringing into it? Unsure.
Yeah.
But top two, I'm going to say RJ, and then second is going to be Hammaker, and we'll see how that goes for them.
And then 450s, I think it's going to be, I think how I saw Chase ride, I think Chase is going to take it again. If all goes well and he keeps it put together, and then Webb in second and third, I might have to go with either Roxon or AP, to be honest. I think AP, and then, you know, basically just the same winners as we saw, because everybody's just pushing it. And then wild card would probably be Roxon then.
So I'm going to go a little interesting here. I think one is going to be Chase if he can put it together just like he did the past two rounds. I think Cooper Webb's probably going to get second. You could interchange either of those based on the start.
Mm-hmm.
But I think third, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt in the wild card to Shane McElrath.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think it's either going to be him or Malcolm. Malcolm wants that podium again.
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
But I think Shane McElrath right now in that quad lock Honda is absolutely putting it together where he needs to. And he's good off the start. That's something we can rely on. So that's where I'm going with the 450s.
Hell yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. But leave your guys's top three or top first place riders with 250 and 450. We are gonna have a link to the recovery for Jerry Robin. If you guys want to click on that link, go to it and help on his road to recovery. And no, yeah, it's gonna be a good season. I'm excited for it. I mean, it has been a good season. So leave a like, comment, share. We appreciate everybody that tunes in. Hope you guys are enjoying the content, and we will see you after Pittsburgh. And I will be in a different background.
Yeah. Next week
Thank God.
this week.
So I'm not back and forth. I'm going to be in one spot, and it's going to be so much better. I'm super stoked for it. But thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you after Pittsburgh. Peace.
Bye.